I'm joined now with Parker Graham. He is the co-founder of Vestible to find out all of this and more. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today, Parker.
Thank you, Trinity, for having me.
So let's talk about, first and foremost, how is NIL really changing the game?
Absolutely. NIL has created this pathway for athletes to fully, really get access to the full value of their brand and who they are as athletes. When I was playing college and pro football, you'd look up in the stands and people would be wearing your jersey number, but college athletes weren't able to actually monetize that, right, and be paid for doing so. Now, the game's completely changed to the point that college sports are probably never going to be the same again.
And talk to me about how investors now can go about investing in not only the sport, but the player itself.
Absolutely. So that happens in actually a lot of ways. So on our platform on Vestible, you're actually able to invest in a stock where we partnered with the athlete, created a company around them, and not only are you able to invest in that athlete's career, but you're able to actually be paid for doing so. They pay a distribution to their investors every single month. We launched our first athlete, and now we're going to number 2, number 3, number 4.
Yeah, I do want to talk about that. So you recently completed your first athlete IPO with Baron Browning from the Denver Broncos, raising $657,000. That's a huge milestone. Talk to me about the strategic business model behind that move and how it's been received.
Absolutely. It's something that we've always talked about as sports fans, right? I mean, you've probably been sitting down with your friends watching a game thinking, oh my gosh, that athlete, if you just would have invested in their career at some point, you'd be worth a lot of money. We actually wanted to be the ones to put that into practice. And so this first guy that we worked with, Baron, is an innovative guy. He wanted to be the first one, and now that his IPO is complete, we're not just going to be talking about doing deals under $1 million, but now it's going to allow us to move to $1 million, $5 million, $10 million with the next couple athletes we have coming out.
So investors are already making, earning dividends through this transaction.
Absolutely, yeah. They're getting paid every single time a check hits for Baron. It's so fun that investors are actually making a piece of that check as well directly from the Broncos.
And I do want to talk about how you received approval from both the SEC and FINRA to offer athlete securities. I believe this is the first time that this has happened.
This has. So there's been a lot of companies that have come and tried to do it before in different ways, whether it's private placements or Reg D. We were the first ones to use Reg A, which is a specific filing process, to allow not only to do an IPO with an athlete, but also do secondaries as well. So you're able to trade in and out of those positions at scale.
Can you talk more broadly about what this regulatory approval means for both from an investor standpoint, but also for the athletes?
It's really important because it's protecting the investor and protecting the actual security that we create with the athlete, right? Investors are protected because they're investing in a brokerage account. So just like they're investing on Robinhood, right, into different entities, you're going to be able to do the exact same thing, but as opposed to Google, Apple, and Facebook, you're going to be investing in hopefully the next Pat Mahomes, the next Travis Kelce, and so forth.
So how do you think that this is really going to shape the future of investing when it comes to sports?
I mean, look at what's happening in the gambling market right now, right? I mean, gambling is so impactful and so powerful. People are doing that every single day. But unfortunately, you lose 99% of the time, right? For us, we think that we can ride right alongside gambling and be really the smarter decision where you're able to put your money and let it grow over time versus that immediate gratification.
Can you talk to me more about the impacts when it comes to the private equity side and how it's really going to impact NFL teams more broadly and the potential ramifications of this?
Absolutely. So as most people know now, the NFL is allowing private equity to come in and own portions of these franchises. Well, why is it actually happening? It's because the NFL owners want to monetize that business model, right? And private equity has got a 5x and 10x the return. So that ultimately means that the NFL, even though it's the biggest thing ever right now in sports, it's only going to get bigger, and no one can access it except rich people for the NFL franchises. We're giving people access to do it with the actual people that actually play the sport.
But long term, though, how do you plan to sustain this, right? Because as you scale up, as you grow bigger, I mean, you're going to encounter new challenges. So talk to me about your business strategy over the next 3 to 5 years.
The great part about it is if we can dominate the NFL and the NBA, there are brand new athletes coming every single year. There's 300 new NFL athletes and there's 100 new NBA athletes. So the crowd, it's really just limitless. And then you can go out to the other sports. Think MMA, think tennis, golf. Really, this is where the lifeblood of America is in sports, and we're helping people get access to it in a brand new way.
What's the time frame for this? I know, obviously the NFL is priority, the NBA is priority, but talk to me about your expansion plans and what your estimated time frame is.
Really, we'd like to focus on the NFL and NBA for the first couple of years, at least 2. And if we can dominate those sports, kind of everybody else comes with it. And I think you'll see us go into more of those individual sports, right? The golf, the tennis, those ones of the world as well.
And what would you say is your major focus for the rest of the year as we enter to 2025?
Really, it's getting ready for our next 10 athletes. We've got a great, amazing group of athletes that we're working with right now. We're just excited to share it with the world, and that's going to be coming very, very soon.
And you're going to come here on NYSE
with
TV
Trinity,
Live to announce it on our show, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you so much, Parker, for joining us today. A lot of key takeaways.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.